everyone's doing well. I hope you enjoyed my first video. It took a lot for me to come on screen and just be myself and still be able to help everyone out because I really, really want to help people out, being as though I'm going through it now. And I can just help you because it's trial and error. Like, literally, I'm learning as I go. Okay, so this video today is going to be about study tips while in nursing school, especially while in the accelerated program. For those of you who want to go for your BSN and you decide, you either have kids or you have other stuff going on in your life and you have the prereqs done and you just decide, okay, now I want to go get my BSN. So you can do that. And there are a bunch of accelerated programs. Mine is 2 years. There are shorter ones, but I think 2 years is already enough. I can imagine doing 1 year. But if you're interested in learning about how I study or how I've learned to study this first semester in nursing school, stay tuned. Okay, so the first, if I keep looking down, it's because I wrote down what I want to, the few topics I want to touch on or whatever in this video. The first one that I want to touch on is time management. I cannot stress this enough. Time management is huge in nursing school. Not only you're not taking regular prereqs anymore, you're not taking 5 classes. I'm currently taking 7 classes. Yes, 7 classes. I'm taking 5 regular classes and 2 labs because I start clinicals next semester. And then I have to study for all of these classes, and I have to get papers done, I have to get projects done, and then we had 2 service learning projects. So basically, the first one I went to a nursing home in Jersey, in Ocean City, Jersey, and the key goal was to figure out what their health issue they were interested in, and coming up with a health promotion project to help teach them and help them improve in their lives in this specific health issue that they've been focused on. So pretty much it was like a needs assessment, and I had experience with that with public health. But anyway, straight to the point with the procrastination. I had so much going on that I didn't have time. It got to a point where I couldn't even figure out when to eat, when to go to the bathroom, when am I going to sleep, when am I going to take a shower. Like, I'm not even worried about friends anymore. I'm not worried about going out anywhere. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm just worried about trying to turn my paper in on time and still study for a test that I got the same week and still get my presentations done. Like, it was a lot. So I talked to a few friends that finished nursing school, and what I came up with was the first thing that I had to take heed to was, instead of waiting to the last minute to study, because I'm really, really a procrastinator, I realized you can't wait. You cannot wait. You have to, as soon as you get the material, first thing you should do is study it. So what I started doing was, after class, usually before class I have my study guides done, but I'll get to that eventually. Before class I'll have my study guides done. I done already skimmed the chapter, and then the teacher would go in, talk about it, and it was kind of refreshing because I already read information about it. And then after class, I would go to the library because I don't live on campus, and going home, it's just too many distractions. I would go to the library and I would fill in the information in the study guide that the teacher didn't touch on. And after I filled in that information, I would read the chapter again or skim it if I could and just study. Even if it was an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and I would just do one chapter, and if I got one chapter done quickly, I would do the second one. Another thing with procrastination, planners. So this book that I have, this is like my little notes or just to-do list book, but my manager, I work on the weekends as a server. My manager, she got me a planner, one of those huge planners you get from Michael's. you don't even have to have a big one. You can have a small one. I have a small one too. I have a big one. I have this little note thing. Get a planner, get something to get you organized. My phone gets me organized too. So like every time I have sim or every time I know a project or I have a paper due or I have assignment coming up or I have a test coming up or I know just something small like, oh, you need to do the APA on your paper or you need to text somebody. I always write it down. I'm very, very, very forgetful. You saw how I had that blank space because I'm, like I said, I'm forgetful. Like my mom be everywhere, but I'm really, 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 really forgetful. So I have to write everything down before I forget, and it keeps me organized. So especially in the big planner that I have, it has each day and it also has the month. So as a month overall, I'll go in all of my syllabi and I'll look at my different exams that I have coming up and I'll jot them all down. And as the exam is finished, I'll cross it out. Or if the assignment's finished, I'll cross it out. And I'll do each one in different colors. I love colors. Let me show you. I have a whole pencil case. Everything I have is pink. Pink's my favorite color. But I bought a bunch of markers and all types of colors because and I because it just stands out to me more and it helps me focus. So like for assessment, I'll do everything for assessment in purple. For Gero, I'll do everything in Gero green, just so it keeps me organized. Okay, so the next topic is how do I study? I feel like, sorry, I got lipstick on my. How do I study? I feel like that's such a broad question, and that's what I focused on so much in the like before nursing school even started in the first few weeks because I was just nervous because I had such a procrastination issue, and I realized that I'm studying, I'm studying, I'm studying. I remember my undergrad, I would study, 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 and I wouldn't do well on exams. Um, I talked once again. I said I talked to my nursing friends because I have a lot of friends that just graduated with their BSN, um, and kind of what I figured out. I kind of meshed it with my own study habits. So the first thing is Quizlet. I love Quizlet. People say it's for memorization, but no. Quizlet has come so advanced, especially since I was in high school, and that was like what 4 or 5 years ago now. Um, Quizlet I can have on my phone. Let me show you. Sorry. So I have the app on my phone, and basically when it pops up, oop, I'm not logged in. It'll come up like this, and it'll have like my study sets. So I'll do a bunch of different things. You can create classes, so like you can send the link to your friends and you all can study from this. They can make study sets and you all can like really help each other out. You can have folders, so like for a class I'll create a specific folder and it'll say nursing 225 or something like that, and I'll put all the study sets for there. So when a study set is made, like just with the study guides, it's done. So come the final, majority of my finals are cumulative. I'll go back and I'll study those same sets because it helps. It really helps. And you don't have to do the work no more. You just gotta study because it's already done. Study guides done, Quizlets are done, and it's just easy. Another thing I use to study is Evolve. Now it depends on your program and what books they make you buy and what publisher they're using. We use Jarvis, and I think there was another publisher along with Jarvis that does Evolve, and pretty much it's a program that coincides with the textbook. It's expensive. It is. I think I paid $99 for it. Sometimes the bookstore sells it as a bundle, but I wouldn't really suggest buying the bundle if you don't have to. I bought it separately because I bought the textbook really, really cheap on eBay. Um, And the Evolve has nursing questions. So you can study all day long. And when nursing school, you need to be able to apply. A patient's not going to come in and be like, oh, um, what would they say? Patient's not going to be coming and say, oh, my elbow is red and it's itchy and it has blue scales or whatever. It's not going to be really, really descriptive, because I know when I go to the doctor, I'm like, my shoulder hurts, or I've had a runny nose for this long, or I just feel sick, or I'm having this pain here, but the pain really might not actually be like located there. It might actually be somewhere else, like, you know. And Evolve helps you take the information you study and apply it. So they have little quizzes, and your teachers can create quizzes too. My teacher, she grades quizzes for assessment, and basically it's like you can choose between 5 to 30 questions, and it's like a huge test bank, and you'll choose your chapter from your book or whatever, and they'll give you questions. You can either do exam mode. That's what I like to do, because I stress myself out when I see that I got something wrong, because I'm getting anxiety. I'm like, I can't get anything else wrong. And then they have regular practice mode, where if you take the questions, I'm sorry, I'm blinking out. If you do the questions, it'll automatically tell you what you got wrong. And what's great about Evolve, all of it gives you rationale. So if you got it wrong, it'll literally explain each answer and tell you why it's not right. And I found that really helpful. I bought it for my pharmacology class, and I bought it for my health assessment. I don't really use it for pharmacology, but I mean, it's really helpful. So I don't know. I found that useful. The next one is study guides. Study guides are my best friend. They're like, I don't know. I feel like that's really what's getting me through this program. Study guides, like between study guides and Quizlet, like they really, all the work's done. I love reading books, but I hate reading textbooks. I hate highlighting. I hate that. I hate it, because the information isn't sticking in my head. So what I do is I create study guides. So especially with assessment, so I'll tell you how I do it with assessment. So assessment, I'll do the anatomy part. So I'll say, in the ear, there's like the outer ear, the middle ear, the inner ear, and I'll explain each one, and I'll color code it. And then if something is a definition, I'll highlight it, and then I'll put it by each section. And usually, what I do is I'll go to the PowerPoint that the professor has or whatever, and I'll change it to Word. I'm gonna figure out how I can do that with screen recording on here, but I'll change it to Word, and I'll copy and paste the anatomy. So, and usually 9 times out of 10, that's straight from the textbook. So I don't have to go in the textbook and be like, okay, the inner ear is, or the outer ear is. I don't have to do that, because it's done. So use the resources, use what your professors give you. So I'll take that PowerPoint, I'll copy and paste the anatomy, and then I'll ignore the rest of the PowerPoint. I create my own subjective and objective data. So I'll go in the textbook, my subjective data, I'll literally look at whatever the question is, look at the abnormality. So if the question says with breast, the first thing you should ask them if they're having tenderness or any swelling in their breasts. So then the abnormality would be like, usually any tenderness or swelling is inflammation. And I'll put that right under the question. So that's what you would ask your patient, and then I'll put the abnormality underneath, and I'll highlight it in red. So I know if I see that, or if a patient says something like that, something's wrong, you know. So yeah, I do that, and then for objective, I do the same exact thing. It'll tell you basically the exams you need to do. Like, you know, for breasts, you'll tell a person to raise their arms, and then if they're heavier, you'll tell them to lean forward, and you just want to check that the breasts are symmetrical, and that there's no breast lag, that they're raising at the same time. This is all information you probably are going to learn, but like this is something I learned, and the fact that I'm able to talk about it and teach it means that I'm kind of reinforcing what I know. So I'll do that, and I'll do the test, and I'll do all the abnormalities I'll find. So like usually breast lag, like I said, if you tell a person to lift their breast up and one breast takes longer, there might be a mass under there. So I'll take that, and that's usually on the right hand side of the textbook. in the objective section, and I'll highlight that in red. And it tells me what test I'm doing. And if I do the test right, it should be normal. It should be the normal things. Both breasts should come up. Nothing should be swollen. You shouldn't see any masses. You shouldn't see any rashes. You shouldn't see discharge. But if I'm doing the test and I see one of those red things, then I know something is wrong. And I'll write the name of what I might find, like the name of the discharge, or mastalasia, which is like breast pain. Yeah. Okay. So I told you how I did my study, guys. I'm going to try and post a picture. Like I said, I'm new to these YouTube things, so trying to figure out and coordinate all of this is new. Binders. So I had a good friend who told me that she does binders, which I'm probably going to do next semester. Sorry if the light keeps doing that. I'm in a classroom. Now I'll talk about where I study. This is where I study. But binders. So I kind of started it, but I didn't really fully go through with it, but I know I'm going to do it next semester. So each topic for each test, I'm probably going to, you get a binder and you get, you put everything for that test in there. So like all your study guides, like and that pages, my study guides usually are like 30, 40 pages. It's a lot of information. So I'll do that, and then in that binder, instead of trying to figure out where all your papers are on your computer, even though I have folders on my computer, having that binder there, I know I can, oh snap, I found this video. Let me write that link down. Oh snap, this was more information that helped me understand the material better. Let me go in my binder, find a page, go write that down. So that'll help. So when it comes time, once again, to take the NCLEX, to take your final, to take, we take ATI exams instead of HESI. And excuse me, all of your information is already there. You don't have to backtrack. It's all there, and you have the binders forever, and you can always refer to it. Next thing I used to study is the Saunders Comprehensive NCLEX Review. It has a green cover, and a friend, the same friend who mentioned the binder, she mentioned that to me, and then one of my really, really good friends, she gave it to me. Sorry. She gave me the actual book, and I also have an online copy, and I'll try and see if I can put the link where I got the online copy for free. And basically, it's a book about this big, maybe a little bigger, and it breaks up each topic. So I'm not really into pediatrics or maternity yet. I'll do that next semester. But it breaks up all of the topics into anatomy. It breaks it up into the exams, and it breaks up into abnormalities, and it breaks it up. Yeah. And so pretty much it's another reinforcement. It does it in layman's terms. So basically, it does it to where me and you can understand it. We're first-time learners. A lot of this information is new to us, and it's breaking it down. And it's not just it's not just textbook material, because sometimes the textbook gets to be redundant and it gets boring, and you don't understand. You'll read the paragraph 3-4 times, and you're like, I still don't understand what they're trying to tell me. I still don't understand what I'm supposed to know. Sometimes I'll be in class like that. I'll be like, she done said this about 3-4 times, and I still be like, crickets. Like, I still don't get what you're saying. So I'll go on the Saunders, I'll look at the chapter that we're talking about, and they have pretty much all the information. Most schools go by the same scheme, and it'll break it down, and it makes it so much easier. So sometimes I'll copy and paste the stuff from the Saunders, and I'll put it in my study guides that I already made from the textbook and from my professor's PowerPoints. So that's how I study. Between Quizlets, my study guides, Evolve, and I do a lot of questions. Okay, so like I said, nursing school is all about applications. No more textbook definitions anymore. It's no about where is this in your body. It's no about, it's no more like, what color is this rat? It doesn't work like that. It's literally a motor. Like, I remember there was a question, a motorcyclist fell off of his bike or got into an accident, and he had some type of scar or whatever under his chest. What is it? And you're like, what? Accident? What? Like, what? The answer ended up being keloid. Like, and, they said tattoo. He had a tattoo and he had a scar or whatever. if you think about, oh, you know what a keloid is, it's usually a scar. It's from healing. That's what comes up on there. I don't know. You just put nursing school is all about putting the puzzle pieces together. Like, I can't really explain it. It really is about putting all the puzzle pieces together and applying the information that you're being taught to actual real life situations, because everybody's not going to know what's bothering. They're not going to know what hurts. They're not going to know something's wrong with their body. And you're not going to know because they won't be able to explain it. But if you know certain key things and you're able to apply it and kind of like connect the dots, you're going to be good, for real. You're really going to be good. Another one is, if you can teach it, you know it. That's big for me. Even talking about these questions now and talking about the breast, because I have a final exam coming up and I just studied this information, it's like reinforcement. If you can teach it to somebody else and you can teach it thoroughly, you know it. You know it. You know it. Like, if you can teach it to somebody else, you know the information. Like, so that's what I try to do. I might seem like I'm crazy. I don't care, like, because I am a little crazy. But I'll take the information that I'm given and I'll take it, what I'm studying, and I'm studying, and maybe I get tired of questions and I'll pretend I'm in a freaking classroom and I'll sit at a table, I'll sit in my room, I'll sit in the study room that I am, and I'll pretend I'm teaching a class. If I can talk about the information and I can teach it, I know it. I know it. Okay. So I put time. What time do I study? Like, what time during the day? I think I'm being sick. What time during the day do I study? So I'm a morning person. I wake up very early. I'm Muslim. I pray at 5:45, or depending on what time of the season it is. But usually around that time, I wake up at 3 or 4, but I also go to bed early. So all my classes are night classes because it is a accelerated program. So it's like a night and weekend program. So I'm usually done class around like 6 at the latest, the absolute latest. With my general class, it was 8 o'clock, but we don't usually even get done that time. So usually like 6, 7. I'll go to the library till like 10. When I go home, it's shower, bed. That's it. Shower and bed, nothing else. So I can wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock and I try and work out now. I eat breakfast and I'm good to go, so that when I'm done all my BS, I can get straight to the nitty gritty. I'll get dressed and I go to school. I'm at school usually by 10 o'clock at the latest. I'll get a study room. When you're in nursing school, make friends with your professors, make friends with the secretary in the nursing office, make friends with them because they look out. So I always get a study room. The library is just too loud. Go figure, right? The library is too loud. The study room works better for me. My friends meet up with me later in the day. But in that morning, I have time to myself. I don't have no distractions. I try and turn off my phone if I can. And I'll study. So that goes in hand with do I study alone or with a friend? I study alone in the morning and in the library at night because my friends go home. Most of us are commuter students. And I study with my friends like around 1 or 2 o'clock. They'll come in from work because, we all have other obligations. They'll come in and the study room comes in handy, and we'll just study and we'll write stuff on the board. We'll do problems. We'll teach each other, help each other. Hey, I got this. What didn't you get? And this is how I learned it. Oh, this is where I got more information from. Doing all that. Once again, make friends with people in your class. Especially accelerated, they're usually small cohort. My cohort is 53, I think. And, each semester it goes down. People don't pass MedCal. People don't pass their classes. And, you're out the program, unfortunately. But, make friends with these people because you cannot go through nursing school alone. It is absolutely impossible. I mean, you might be able to do it, but you'll be miserable. You don't have to be best friends. You don't have to tell your business, but you don't have to even have a huge study group. My study group or my friends are two people, and we study and we literally do everything school-wise together, and we've started enjoying other things outside of school together too. And it takes the pressure off because you have somebody that's going through it and knows what you're going through, and you're able to lean on each other. And if you fail a test, or you all fail a test, or you all took a test and you're like, damn, I don't know how I did on that test, like, you're all feeling the same thing, you're all going through the same thing, and what works for you might not work for her, and what works for her might not work for you, or what works for her might help you, and she can give you better insight. So I know they help me. They remind me, like I said, I'm forgetful. They'll remind me of different sims coming up. They'll remind me of papers. They'll remind me of different things because I'm, like I said, forgetful. Place, where do I study? Once again, I get a study room. I study in the library at night. I study on the fourth floor, the top floor, where you can hear a pin drop. And then I just strictly study, because then I can BS in the morning if I want to be on Instagram, or I want to be social, or let's say the weekend coming up and I got an event, which I won't have no social life next semester. But this semester, like, if the weekend's coming up and I would do work part-time, but I still want to go out, I can do that because I got all my studying in. Distractions. Okay. So, sorry. Some distractions that I have, my phone. Like I said, my number one thing is I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. It's like on a permanent Do Not Disturb. I miss calls, but people know, like, I'm in school or I'm working, so that's why I'm missing these calls. It's not because I'm ignoring you, and they're my friends, my family. People are sympathetic towards that. Sorry. My social media, I just got Instagram back. I had deleted it when school started because I knew it was going to be my downfall. I literally would, you know how you click on one Instagram video and it just goes to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and you just end up on Katrina's sister's cousin's boyfriend's baby daddy's sister-in-law's page, like a whole 3 or 4 hours later, and it's terrible. So I had to get rid of that, and after a while, it took me like a week, a week, and you don't even notice it. You're so swamped in work that you don't even have time for social media. I don't study at home. I'm a commuter student. I don't study at home because I have a lot of distractions. Don't get me wrong. My family is very, very supportive. My mom is like really, really all about school, but things happen. My dad want to ask me questions. My sister she's in school too. She want to ask me questions, or she want to gossip. My brothers, they want to play music too. It's just too many distractions. So let me just save myself the trouble, and I'm going to just go to the library. So I just wake up early, and while everybody's at school, I make my way to school. Even though I don't have class till 4 o'clock, I'm at school at 10 o'clock. That way I can study, and I have no excuse. And the last thing I wrote was remediation. So I wrote remediation. So basically with nursing school, with my school, I don't know how other schools work, but we take all our exams on a computer. So at the end of the exam, you have a tentative score. So let's say your score is 85. Your score might not actually be an 85, and that's usually what happens with most nursing schools. The professors, they'll look over the exam. It's kind of like curving. They'll look over the exam, they'll see, oh, maybe that was unclear, or they'll take a look at a question and be like, maybe I didn't teach that, or maybe everyone got this wrong, so something must be wrong. So they'll throw the question out, so it's a better chance of you guys getting a higher score. So the lowest points I got back, I think, was 2 points, and the highest I got back was 10 points, and that was the last exam, and that was a rough exam for assessment. But yeah, so your final score is not always going to be your final score. They always look at questions. They do deductive reasoning, and then they may or may not throw a question out or bring it back. I did test review because, well, where I go to school, you're able to review your exams. So you can't physically have it in your hand because it's online, but the TA or whoever's the assistant with the class, you'll book a meeting with them, and then you'll meet one-on-one and go over each question. And my teacher's assistant, she's amazing. And like I said, being Black, like, usually I'm either the only Black person in my class or I'm one of 3. Like, there's not a lot of us. So my TA, she's a person of color. don't get me wrong, she's super, super, super educated. She's in school for her NP, and still she teaches my pharmacology lab, and she's a teacher's assistant for my assessment class. Like, she does it all, and it's just really, really inspirational, especially going to a PWI. um, but anyway, I got off on a tangent. She's just great. I do test reviews with her, so she'll break it down. She'll look at my score. She'll be like, "How'd you do?" Before she looks at it, and she'll be like, "Oh, you didn't do too bad. Like, don't beat yourself up." Because I think I'm my biggest critic. Um, I definitely have a hard time. Like, I have really, really high standards, just because I want to achieve so much in life. Um, but I, what was I gonna say? The test reviews really, really help me, because 9 times out of 10, when I get something wrong, it's not a question that I don't know. It's usually the answer I didn't go with my gut. It's usually between the two answers, and the one I chose was wrong, and the other answer was right. And it's really, really frustrating, but it helps me. So she'll go over each question. She'll look at what I chose. It'll do it like, it'll put a check mark or something, and then it'll put the right answer in like green, and she'll like print it out, and we'll go through each question, and we'll look at the rationale, and then if I still don't understand, she'll break it down to me. So if your schools or your professors offer test remediation, like test review, do it. Do it, because your teachers will see that you're trying, you're really, really trying, and who knows, they might have ways to help you study. um, better ways to help you study for their exam. Because remember, at the end of the day, they're making the exam. So getting help or tips from them is definitely great. I think my last thing with study tips is, oh, going back to the color coordination. So I do my notes in different colors, often pink because it's my favorite color. But I do them in different colors because I have one of those semi photographic memories, and let's say something comes up on the exam, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was in pink, what did it say? And then I'll remember it. It just catches my attention, it's more boring, it sticks in my head more. And I don't know, it just helps. I hope this was really helpful for you guys. I feel like there's so much more I could touch on, but once again, I've only been through my first semester, and I'm just giving you tips on what I know as of now. As time goes on, I'm definitely going to do an update on this video, on have I changed how I study, have I learned any new ways how to study, and I just really hope you guys enjoy this video. Please subscribe. Please turn on your notifications, so when I put up a video, y'all know I put up a video. I'm going to try and do this as much as I can. It's towards the end of the semester, so that's why I'm doing way more videos, because I have the time now. I mean, I don't really have time, but I'm making time for it. Yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I definitely want to answer whatever questions you have about nursing school that I know so far. If you have an idea for a topic for my next video that you want to do, let me know. I think I might do MedCalc for the next video. I just took my final MedCalc exam, and I did really, really well. So, but it was rough. Like, I had the bubble guts. Like, I was shaking. That's how scary it was. And you can only get 2 wrong or you out the program. So, yeah, that was a lot of stress, and I feel like MedCalc is big. We take it each semester. I had to teach myself dementia analysis. It was a lot. So if you guys think you want me to do my next video on dementia analysis, well, not just dementia analysis, but MedCalc, let me know. Put it in the comments. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. My Instagram is __ towards greatness, with 2 S's at the end. So __ towards greatness.